Wisdom is often passed down from the generations who come before us. One of the greatest leadership principles and examples of pure textbook wisdom comes from a senior adult who'd been around the block a time or two. His name was Jethro, and he was Moses' father-in-law. In Exodus 18, we find that Moses was overworked, overwhelmed, and heading towards burnout. Let's dive into verse 18 and see some wisdom bars Jethro was spitting. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice. And may God be with you. Select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. If you do this and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain and all these people will go home satisfied. See, God never intended for you to bear the burden of leadership alone. There's too much work for one person to do by themselves, and if you try to do it by yourself, you'll end up burnt out and worn out. So as we look to Jethro as our wise sage, let me break down his leadership lesson to Moses in 4 points. Delegation isn't giving away what you don't want to do. Delegation is gaining assistance in what you alone are not able to do. See, Moses' job was to listen to God and then communicate his findings to God's people. He didn't give away his responsibilities, but he realized he needed help from other leaders if he was truly going to be effective. Delegation isn't freeing yourself of tedious responsibilities. Delegation is leading the charge in team responsibility. See, Israel was constantly on the move throughout the wilderness, and Moses needed teams of people with varying levels of responsibility and varying levels of authority. Some dudes were over 1,000 people and some were over 10. But together, they were a team. Delegation isn't an act of releasing all control. Delegation is the act of commanding those you release. Through all of this, God was the ultimate commander-in-chief, but Moses was responsible for executing global leadership in order for the people to be satisfied. And lastly, delegation isn't enlisting an army to serve. Delegation is empowering the army you serve. One of the most powerful pieces of advice in this passage is when Jethro says, they will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. When Moses recruited his leaders, he wasn't just recruiting servants to do work for him, but brothers to share in the work with him. Delegation is a necessity for effective leadership. So look for ways to put these truths into practice in your club, in your church, and in your world. Stay tuned each Monday for weekly leadership lessons and motivational thoughts. Make sure that you follow us on social media and check out the links that are below. I delegate to you today, go and fulfill the Great Commission.